be the next person to win the Undisputed title or the World title or any of the other titles on the main roster. That's what we're going to do today, but I'm going to go one step further. I'm not just going to predict the next champion, I'm going to predict the champion after the next champion. But before we do that, let's determine who's going to win this championship right here. All you got to do to win is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification. I'm going to give this belt away at 20,000 subscribers on my quest to quit my day job. So let's get started. We'll start with the Intercontinental belt. We'll go with Dominic Mysterio. Who is Dirty Dom going to lose his title to? You know what? Let's do some bold predictions. Let's not do the obvious, well, it has to be AJ Styles. No, I'm thinking Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee just helped AJ Styles against Grande Americano, and AJ still kind of feuding with Dom. What if that feud kind of like takes a detour and AJ and Dragon Lee now becomes Dom's sole opponent? Those two, they feud, they fight, because Dominic Mysterio is very much positioned himself as the greatest luchador of all time, and Dragon Lee has taken exception to that. They fight, they feud, Dragon Lee wins, but this won't be a long title reign because Grande Americano swoops in and beats Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee is more of a transitional champion to get the belt on Grande Americano. Now, again, I'm not necessarily saying I want these things to happen. I'm saying this is what I think is going to happen. Does that make sense here? All right, let's continue on. We can do the females Intercontinental title right now. We'll just do, we have, who do we have? We have Becky Lynch, the greatest of all time, and that's not just me saying it, that's Sports Illustrated as well, and she is in a feud right now with AJ Lee. I think that's the perfect choice right there. AJ Lee, she has returned after 10 years. She beats Becky Lynch, and she is the Intercontinental Champion. I think she holds it for a good while, but at WrestleMania, she loses it to her adoptive daughter, her chosen daughter, not really adopted, but like kind of like, you know, she's part of the family kind of way. Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez will beat AJ Lee for the Intercontinental title. Built-in feud and story right there. So let's now go over to Smackdown, where we have the U.S. title being held by Julia and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has opened up the floor for an open challenge. I bet he does a good 4 to 5 matches before he's finally defeated. And who is consistently going up to Nick Aldis saying, hey, Nick, I need a shot? Carmelo Hayes. I could see Carmelo Hayes actually winning this at the end. Maybe he's even the first challenger, and then he's the last challenger, and he, like, you know, he gets to learn something. I don't know if an open challenge you're allowed to fight twice for it, but hey, it's an open challenge. But I think at the end of the day, Melo is going to be the guy who beats Sami Zayn for that title. But who will beat Melo? That's a good question. It could be just someone random, like what if Jacob Fatu suddenly wants the title back? But he has started to hang out again with Trick Williams in NXT as they feud in NXT, not on the main roster, with DIY. So what if this is a stepping stone for Trick to piggyback on Melo onto the main roster, and those two will eventually feud, and Trick will beat Melo for U.S. title. Now we go Julia. It's an interesting one. They haven't booked her very well at all, so this could literally be just a random, oops, you lost to Nia Jax type of match. I don't want that to happen, but unfortunately they have not booked her strong at all. If they just want Chelsea Green to continue on with her amazing president gimmick, they could just always give it back to her somehow, some way. But yeah, triple threat with Meacham. But what I really think is going to happen, Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill will not win against Tiffany Stratton. She's going to be pushed down the card a little, but not too far. I don't think WWE's going to give up on her. I could see her beating Julia for the U.S. title. Again, don't come at me and say, but Julia's so much better. I'm not saying I want Jade to beat Julia. I'm saying that's what I think will happen. Who will beat Jade, though? That's a question. That's a question. Hopefully, Jade will have moved up the card after she has her U.S. title run. So let's drop it to Lash Legend. Lash Legend and Trick Williams are dating, so that'd be kind of funny and cool if we got both U.S. champions together. Lash Legend is ready for that main roster. She has actually just completed, she lost, but she just completed a mini feud with Nia Jax, and I think that was probably a test to see if she's ready to hang with the big dogs of the main division, the main roster. So Lash Legend comes, Lash and Jade, like, really, like, 3 or 4 years from now could be a dream match, but because they're so young in their career, it's just a, ooh, this is interesting, this is enticing. So Lash Legend could beat Jade Cargill for the U.S. title. So now let's do the tag teams. We'll start with the Raw division. I could instantly see that the Bronze winning the tag team title. The only reason why I say no is because they're still very much single stars, but they keep on the PLEs getting meshed together as one unit. So I'm thinking that Judgment Day, they're not doing anything with it, so somehow, some way, there's a triple threat, or it's just one of those rare heel versus heel matches, which they do happen here and there. And yeah, the Bronze, I think the Bronze are just going to win it to just win it. They got the tag team titles are literally just doing nothing right now, so I could see Triple H just saying, hey, at least it'll make the Bronze look even stronger. So let's do that. So, yeah, but who will beat them? Who will beat them? This is where it gets interesting. Penta is in a feud with the New Day, right? If the New Day can start beating down Penta more and more and more, well, then he can ask for his brother Rey Fenix to come and help him. And now you got the Lucha Brothers versus the New Day, and they will beat the New Day. But in the process, somehow, some way, they cross paths with the Bronze, and Penta has already had problems with the Vision, so maybe they rekindle that, and the Luchas versus the Bronze, that's a very enticing match right there, and I could see that happening. So the Bronze are the winners, but they will eventually lose to the Lucha Brothers, and it won't be a big deal because then they can go on their own, or at least start going into singles competition once more. But as a tag team, that would be a huge victory for the Lucha Brothers. So now let's do the women's tag team division. I see the Kabuki Warriors actually beating the Not Friends, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. It seems like the Kabuki Warriors are in a prime spot to get pushed. Asuka's doing great work, making sure that nobody is friends with Io Sky, and when she walks off camera, she's like, Kyrie! Kyrie! Which is hilarious and funny. So here you got a really good character, plus storyline, plus former tag team champions who actually a tag team with a name. That's pretty good stuff. I could see them beating Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, but who beats the Kabuki Warriors? Well, I see Liv Morgan coming back and not having a place in Judgment Day anymore because Roxanne Perez has kind of weaseled her way in, just like Liv Morgan weaseled her way in to Rhea Ripley, kicking her out basically. So now Liv will have the same situation, and nothing unites people more than equally hating somebody, and Liv Morgan is now gonna hate Dom, and Rhea already hates Dom too, and Liv Morgan is probably gonna, maybe she gets beat down by Raquel, maybe she gets beat down by Roxanne Perez, and somehow, some way, Rhea comes to her aid because she's like, I've been there, I understand, and that hatred of Dom unites them. They fight Roxanne and Raquel for a little bit, but what eventually happens is Rhea, she's also kind of feuding with Asuka about that relationship with Io, and I could see now they turn their attentions, those two, as a matter of, well, you helped me with the Judgment Day, I'll help you with the Kabuki Warriors. And I could see the will they, won't they get along once mortal enemies, now friends or tag team out of necessity, convenience, I don't know, but Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley as your tag team champions, beating the Kabuki Warriors. I said we're doing bold predictions. Let's go bold. Let's go bold. Now, what about the Smackdown division? This one requires a trade, but the Wyatts, they seem to be on top of the world. Nobody can touch them, and they're all about, do you really have the bond of a family? Because we're family, even though they're really not, but yes, we're family, but you guys, I don't see it. Basically to the entire tag team division. So what if there was somehow, some way, a trade, and the Creed brothers get brought over to Smackdown? I'm not sure how this necessarily happens, but yeah, like the American-made gimmick, unless they actually bring back Chad Gable and he tries to make that faction a thing, it kind of was like dead in the water almost right after, actually, their feud with the Wyatt Six. But we have the Creed brothers coming in saying, you know what? We're family and we're challenging you. So I'm saying the Creed brothers will beat the Wyatt Six, the ones who eventually. Now, it might not be soon, but in a couple months, I could see it happening. And then, who beats the Creeds? I'm thinking they give it to the Fraxium. I just think they give it to Fraxium. It probably won't be like a great storyline. It's probably just going to be more like, I want the tag team champions and we're better than you. No, you're not. It's just, I just don't see them not giving it to Fraxium after some time. I think Fraxium, they got on the roster, they're paying their dues right now, and they will win the championships. I just feel it. I wish there was a better storyline, but that's pretty much as deep as they're going to go in the tag team division story. I want the belt. I want the belt. So there you go, your tag teams. Now, should we do the men's world title scene or the women's world title scene? Let's do the women's. We just talked about Rhea Ripley and Asuka. I think that feud right there is going to also stem from what's about to happen here. We have Io Sky versus Stephanie Fakir. That's happening at WrestlePalooza about a week or so from now. I'm thinking, at first I thought it was going to be Stephanie Fakir, because I was like, you know what? They'll probably give it to Stephanie Fakir because they've completely done nothing with her, and they just like to do that. Like, let's do nothing with this person, then give them the title, and then do nothing with them again. So, like, I'm like 51%, 49 Stephanie Fakir. 49% Stephanie Fakir wins, but 51% that they give it to Io Sky. Io Sky is going to win it, and she's not going to hold it for long. I think Asuka's going to help her win it, but what's going to happen is we got Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is, I think they're going to want to showcase her big time in Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. So what'll happen is Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. They have the storyline of Rhea has never beat Io Sky, and they had Match of the Year contender at Evolution 2. The only reason why it might not be Match of the Year is because they didn't have a proper finish. Now, I love the finish because it was Naomi, but cashing in, but those two didn't have their proper finish, so they're going to run it back. And I think Rhea gets to win the title in Australia and overcome the mountain of I can't beat Io Sky. So unfortunately, Io is going to be a transitional champion as well. Though Asuka will probably be involved in it somehow, because Asuka will probably position herself to be Rhea's first challenger. So maybe Asuka costs Io the victory here. But regardless, Io wins at the Palooza of Wrestling, and then Crown Jewel is Rhea Ripley. So now let's go to SmackDown, and we got Tiffany Stratton. Who does Tiffany win or lose against? I think Tiffany's going to beat Nia Jax for the 48th time this year, and I can also see Tiffany beating Jade Cargill, who I said will fall down the card to the U.S. division. So who's it going to be? I think it's going to be a returning Bianca Belair. That's right. I think they position Tiffany to be the super strong, and they're going to be like, well, we got to have someone even stronger beat her, and that would be Bianca. She's tip top of the card. I could see it being Bianca Belair. Then maybe Bianca and Charlotte can feud after that, but I'm just going to say Bianca comes in, she returns, and within 2 months, she's champ. Probably no real storyline other than, again, I want to be the top of the division. I've wasted enough time with the broken finger. Tiffany doesn't really get storylines. She really doesn't. her feuds suck, and I don't see it getting any much better. I think Bianca will come in as a face, and it's going to be face versus face again, and it's going to be a very underwhelming build to their match, but I think their match will be good, and Bianca, your champion. So now we're at the men's, top of the men's division. Let's go Seth Rollins. CM Punk is going to win against Seth Rollins, and yeah, Seth Rollins beat him with the cash in. Seth Rollins will get his comeuppance when CM Punk beats him. I think CM Punk then be challenged by Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's going to come back. I wish Drew would beat Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed title, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I wish it would. In my heart of hearts, I wish it were. If there was a star in the sky and I had a wish to wish upon said star, I would be like, I wish for $1 billion. Sorry, Drew. Sorry, Drew. I know you probably thought I was going to wish for you to win the title. No, I want the money. I want the money. But if the star was like, no, you can only make a non-selfish wish, I'd be like, I wish for Drew McIntyre to win the world title. So Drew, you're my second choice in that wish. That said, he doesn't win the Undisputed title, but he will win the world title. Seth Rollins is going to lose to CM Punk in their forever feud, but CM Punk has a second forever feud, and that will be Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre will rekindle it. I see Seth fighting Roman at WrestleMania. I see CM Punk fighting Drew at WrestleMania for that world title. Now, where do we go? We're at Cody Rhodes. We're at Cody Rhodes. Cody, unfortunately, is going to beat Drew McIntyre. And Cody Rhodes has only really been interesting. Well, he was interesting against Kevin Owens, to be fair, and the Bloodline. That's when he's the most interesting. And coincidentally enough, we have a guy on Raw that is starting to kind of sort of act like the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is the OTC 1, which implies there's an OTC 2. Roman has been wearing the Ulafalas to honor his uncle and his dad, who were the tribal elders. So what if he's now the tribal elder, and now he needs an OTC of his own, a tribal chief in WWE, and that's Jey Uso, who has, by Jimmy Uso's own admission, is acting more and more like Roman Reigns. And what if Jey Uso just becomes Roman Reigns and goes to Smackdown to reclaim what is his family's bloodline's rightful place at the head of the table as the WWE Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion? And I'm saying this, I'm doing one of the boldest of bold decisions. Jey Uso is going to beat Cody Rhodes. He will be the one to dethrone Cody for the family. Boom, right there. But I know a lot of people are like, no way, why not? Why not? If Jey Uso restarts the Bloodline, and SmackDown has a bunch of Bloodline people in it, we could literally have Jey Uso, Sami Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa. What if? I don't know, that one's a little far-fetched, but Jacob Fatu could instantly join that. And if they don't have anything planned for Jacob, just put him back in the Bloodline, but this time the proper Bloodline, even though it's a 3.0 Bloodline. And yeah, Jey Uso is your champion. Now, I did say who would be champion after that. I don't see Jey Uso doing a 1,316-day run, though. I unfortunately don't. And I think the person to beat Jey Uso, I got three choices. Roman Reigns comes, and maybe Jimmy or maybe Jey stops listening to Roman, and I could see that happening. Roman beats Jey one more time. What if this is the pathway to get Jacob into the World Heavyweight Undisputed main event scene? Or they go with the very boring, very safe, here you go, Cody Rhodes, you can win the championship, and then take 6 weeks off to go film a movie. Roman did just say he He was not done with WWE. He was going to stay in WWE. Do they give the belt one more time to Roman? This would be it. This would be it. I know a lot of people would want Jey to win, but what if Roman wins against Jey? But nah, keep them aligned. Keep them aligned. Roman doesn't want the belt anymore. He doesn't need the belt. Jey's the champion. So that leaves Jacob or Cody. Oh, I hate this. I think they'll just play it safe and let Cody win. I'll tell you the truth. I don't like that, but Jey Uso will win, and then Cody Rhodes will eventually beat him back. And, yeah. Yeah, that's what I see happening. That's what I see happening. Not a big fan of that idea, but it's out there. It's out there regardless. But hey, we'll get Jey Uso as your tribal chief. Maybe they can hot potato that belt back and forth like Mankind and The Rock did in 98, I believe. 98, 99, 99. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are my predictions of your next champion and the next champion after your next champion. I appreciate every single one of you. Have yourselves a great day.